In the last video entitled The Gospel's Total Forgiveness, I mentioned that I was going to tell you about an incident that I had experienced while I was a graduate student. I was in a psychology class and the professor put a film on that dealt with the effects of perception. And as I started to watch this film, I came to realize that perception had a great deal to do with past, present, and future. How you interpret that in your mind determines, in many instances, the attitude that you project to those around you. The film was made at Stanford University, where an individual was hypnotized and he was given the suggestion that he had no past. And when they brought him out of hypnosis, the psychologist and the psychiatrist that were with him noticed his attitude. He was buoyant, he was jubilant, he was happy. He seemed like he had not a care in the world. Then they put him under again, and they suggested that he had no future. And when they brought him out of that hypnotic state, he was very depressed, morose and sullen. He behaved as if he had no hope. The final suggestion given to the subject was that he had no present. Now, this was a turning point in the film. What happened was they tried to bring him out of it to see how he would behave without a present. And the problem was they couldn't bring him out of it. The panic that took place on the face of both the psychologist and the psychiatrist was palpable. It was absolutely remarkable to see how concerned they were and the things that they went through in order to bring him back into his present state. That film left a lifelong impression upon me. I saw in that subject how, when his past was eliminated, he was absolutely joyous. I also saw, on the other hand, when he perceived that he had no future, how sad and how dejected he was, something without hope. It was absolutely depressing to watch him. I mentioned in the last video when I, for the first time, saw and read Hebrews 8, verse 12, where God said, "I will forgive their wickedness and remember their sins no more." That was a turning point for me. Because number one, I operate under the assumption that God cannot lie. Secondly, I believe that God is pure love, that there is nothing that could separate me from the love of God. And thirdly, I believe that Jesus Christ is the embodiment of God Himself here upon this earth, and that He showed us by example the degree to which God would go in order to ransom man. That is the essence of the gospel. The gospel is all about God's love for mankind. Have you ever wondered where it is that love is first mentioned in the Bible? And let me tell you why this is significant. If you look at Genesis 22, verse 2, God instructs Abraham to take Isaac, whom you love, and offer him as a sacrifice. This passage is often interpreted as a foreshadowing of God's sacrificial love for humanity. The Hebrew word used here is ahava, which generally refers to a strong, intense affection, a fatherly love, a parent's love, a love that can only be understood in that context. Genesis 22, verse 2 also indicates, "Take your only son, whom you love, and offer him as a sacrifice." What I'm referring to concerning the first time a subject or a word is introduced in the scriptures is called the law of first mention. When the word, such as love, is first mentioned in the scriptures, it's mentioned in the context of the Father's love for his Son. It's also mentioned in the fact that sacrifice is a form of love that will carry through the theme of the entire scriptures. It's God sacrificing his Son, Jesus Christ, for all of mankind to forgive them of their sins and bring them back into a face-to-face relationship with him eternally as a result of what Jesus Christ did in order to eradicate the effects of sin on all of humanity. Once you realize that God has eliminated your past from his mind totally, and that he cannot lie, that he really means what he says when he says, I will remember their sins no more, and forgive their wickedness. That means that your past is a clean slate in God's mind. Jesus Christ's sacrifice also brought about the end of the death sentence that mankind has as a result of sin. This fact, and this fact alone, can produce profound hope for the future. It is what man needs in order to become a witness to the transformative power of the gospel in a human being's life and bringing them hope for all of eternity in a world that is dark and filled with despair. If you would like to have the assurance of salvation, repeat Romans 10 verse 9 with me now. I say with my mouth that Jesus is Lord, and believe in my heart that God has raised him from the dead. And according to Romans 10 verse 9, I am saved. Remember, on the 15th and 30th of every month, a new video comes out on this channel revealing the love of God through his Son, Jesus Christ, to you personally and to the rest of the world. Kindly like, comment, subscribe, and share this with everyone. God bless you.